No happy tears for government today, because a year
Lots of tears, though.
But a year after securing that landslide victory, the polling indicates that 72% of Oz thinks Sir Keir Starmer's government is as much chaos as the last Conservative
And
one.
you can't help but think maybe he thinks that too. The drama surrounding Rachel Reeves, for instance, and the welfare bill and her tears seems to have resulted in the Prime Minister receiving his lowest approval rating yet.
Well, recent polling also suggests that if there was a general election tomorrow, Reform UK would get 290 seats. Now, it's not enough for an outright majority, but heck, what a jump it is up from the current 4 that they have, leaving top cabinet ministers without a job. So can Labour turn it all around? Let's
speak to political commentator Suzanne Evans. And a very good morning. Very good morning, Suzanne. I mean, this is quite a poll. Sir Keir Starmer has to be shocked by this. His ratings just go down and down and down.
Yes, it's not a good morning for the Prime Minister. His approval ratings have gone down from +10 in August last year to -40 now. This is according to the exclusive polling by the Sunday Times, by More in Common for the Sunday Times. There's no doubt this is an absolute disastrous poll for Keir Starmer. But really, should he be surprised? Absolutely not. I mean, since he came into office, it's been a disaster after disaster after disaster. You know, it started with the withdrawal of the winter fuel allowance from pensioners. That was massively, massively unpopular. There's no surprise whatsoever that this poll also shows his popularity rating particularly low over the over 65s. Then hot on the heels of that, we had the Chagos disaster when he threatened to spend, well, he is spending £9 billion giving away the Chagos Islands to Mauritius. This week, as you mentioned, we've had the tears from Rachel Reeves, we've had the climb down on welfare. There was also that £20 billion black hole that Rachel Reeves, Chancellor, said the Tories had left behind. Well, Labour's record so far has been absolutely disastrous. They've overspent by 55 billion more than the OBR forecast in just the last 8 months. The small boat arrivals up 48% so far this year, 20,000 in the first 6 months as compared to last year. They said they were going to stop the use of hotels. Well, it turned out they were going to buy the hotels and bribe private landlords with extortionate amounts of rent to actually put these people up, pushing other people out of the rental market. I don't think there's a single demographic in the country that Keir Starmer's government has not upset in some way or another. I could go on. You know, there was the freebie scandal. The rest of us are struggling with higher taxes whilst they were getting free suits and free spectacles and that sort of thing. Yeah. It's an endless litany of absolute disasters from this government from the word go.
Well, yes, but the point is, does it matter? Well, no, hold on. In the sense that there are 4 years until another general election. There's, maybe they're doing all the bad stuff now. They're making all the hard stuff. They said from day one, this is going to be very, very hard on us all. We're going to really feel it. So they painted that picture. There's 4 years to turn this around. That is an extraordinary amount of time in politics.
Well, there are, but I think people don't see them taking the hard decisions. I think they see them taking decisions that were not in their manifesto. So, for example, Chagos was not in the manifesto. The vote on decriminalising abortion was not in the manifesto. That upset a lot of people. Now, abortion up to term. The tax rises were not in the manifesto. They promised there'd be no tax rises on working people, and then spun that. I think very badly, to make a rise in employer national insurance, which actually means that people are losing jobs because businesses are going bust. They haven't got so much money to play with. They're having to cut costs. So that is a tax on working people, however way you want to look at it. And so I don't think people see them making hard decisions. I see they see them making decisions that are not necessary. I think there is now a huge amount of I think concern rising about net zero, for example. So how can you have a £20 billion black hole allegedly on the one hand and then give Ed Miliband £20 billion on a carbon capture and storage project, which is completely unproven and untested? That, again, is something that rankles. You know, their tax pledges, putting up taxes on wealthy people, that's just led wealthy people to leave the country. We've seen for phenomenal exodus of millionaires from this country, young people looking for jobs overseas, in Dubai, for example, instead of actually looking for a future career here. So I think they might have 4 years, but the way I see it and the way a lot of people see it is that in that 4 years, things could get a lot worse. The overspend now, the budget overspend is so huge that a bailout from the IMF is not beyond the bounds of possibility. And we think we're having tough times now. Wait until that happens. And yet this week, Keir Starmer's also signed a UN pact promising even more tax rises, more tax hikes on alcohol, on fuel, on tobacco, on wealthy people, whatever that might mean.
I mean, it's so frustrating. I mean, hearing your litany there, looking at the polling on Keir Starmer, the fact that he is massively unpopular. And when they do these polls, time and again, people say, I cannot trust a word he says. So you end up thinking, well, what can we do about it? We're just stuck with them.
Well, we are. And I think one of the most depressing things about this particular poll is that people asked who they trusted more as Prime Minister. Was it Keir Starmer? Was it Nigel Farage? Or was it Kemi Badenoch? And the really depressing answer was that a majority of people, 46%, said none of them. And I think this is the other problem. Trust in politicians has never been high. It really hasn't. But it is absolutely on the floor now. And if I had a pound for every time I'd heard somebody say they're all as bad as each other, I don't trust any of them, I'd be a very rich woman. And I don't see Labour turning that around. We've now, also this week, other bad news for Keir Starmer, this formation of a new party by Jeremy Corbyn and Zara Sultana. That is potentially going to eat into Labour's vote as well. So yes, they might have 4 years left. But to be honest, right now, the picture looks very, very gloomy. And if reform
Suzanne, it looks more gloomy for the Tories, doesn't it? It doesn't look gloomy for reform, but of course there are a lot of questions around reform as to what structures they're going to be able to get in place over the next 4 years.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, to go for nothing, let's assume this poll actually translates into reality. To go from absolutely nothing to having 290 seats in Parliament is going to bring its own challenges for reform. They've lost 2 councillors in by-elections, or 2 council seats, I should say, in by-elections this week, rather suggesting that the electorate isn't quite as strong as it was making that protest vote back at the time of the local elections. They really have to pull together a very, very strong candidate list when it comes to that general election. And just how flaky some of those candidates might turn out to be because of the speed at which they've been appointed is a potential problem for reform. There's no doubt about that. And as for the Conservatives, yes, I think many people, certainly many people I've spoken to, voted for Labour this last time because they thought, well, they haven't been in power for a long time. Let's give them a chance. The Tories are absolutely hopeless. It can't be worse. Well, it's looking like it is worse, but that doesn't mean people are ready to forgive the Conservative Party just yet.
No. Well, I was going to say, I mean, back to the question of what can we do? Maybe we've got the chaotic government we deserve, and we had the chaotic Conservative government we deserve. Maybe we should get up and decide who you want to vote for, decide who you want to support, and actually support them, do something.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I always encourage people to get involved in politics. It's not an easy thing to do, and it's a time-consuming thing to do, and it can be an expensive thing to do as well. But if you really want to complain, then for goodness sake, get out there and vote. I slightly take issue that when you say we get the government we deserve, because I think in both cases, with the Conservatives and the Labour Party this time around, we got governments that didn't actually do what they said they were going to do. I think both of them pretty much have ripped up their general election manifestos, didn't follow through on their promises, brought in all kinds of other measures that were not expected. And so I think if people voted on a manifesto, they should expect to see that manifesto delivered. And unfortunately, that has not proven to be the case. And I think that is fundamentally wrong, actually, and a disgrace on the political system.
OK, Suzanne.
Thanks for cheering us up, Suzanne.
Sorry.
Yeah,
but it is quite a picture, isn't it?
I'm afraid it is thoroughly depressing.
Thank you, yeah.
As the way I said, but it's what happens next. It's what happens next. Will Nigel Farage be able to put structures in place?
And if you believe in reform and you're waiting for reform to do something, maybe you should get out and actually help them. Similarly, if you believe in any of the other political parties, maybe you should get out and help them sort this out, actually step up. Not sit back and expect politicians to be good.
Well, we're very good at moaning about politicians.
Yeah, exactly.
They're all the same. Well, maybe we need to become politicians. It's not for me.
No, it's not for me either.
Not for me.
But it doesn't stop you supporting somebody you believe in.
No. No, I guess. Well, not for us. We can't support political parties.
No, we can't. No,
but for you.
You can. Get up. Go out and do something.
Do as we say, not as we do.
Yes, that's right.
Anyway, should we